In this tutorial we're going to look at the pronunciation of consonants. So in Spanish that's the la pronunciación de los consonantes. So you can see already we're going to look at the letter C. Now the letter C has two different distinct sounds. You've got the k, like an English K, and you also got th. You've got it twice. So first of all we're going to look at the letters that sound different to what they do in English. So if we look at the letter C, you've got a word like Cuba, California, California, Caracas. Okay, but then you've also got words like the word for five, cinco, or the word for zero, cero, or beer, cerveza. Okay, so why is it here k and here th? So basically the rule is it's k unless the next letter after the C is an I or an E. So it's the very next letter. So here cinco, cero, cerveza. Okay. Sometimes you might have a word like thinking of cucaracha. So here you've got cuca, so the k, but you've got ch, which is like a ch, like cheese in English, cucaracha, meaning cockroach. Okay, so this sound, the th, is kind of like, in English if you said think, or thistle, or thought, pith, you know, the th, soft th sound. That sound also happens when there's a C followed by an I or an E, but also when you've got a Z. Now the letter Z in Spanish is theta. Theta. So if you think of words you're probably familiar with, like the island, Ibiza, or the spicy paprika sausage, chorizo. Because if you can't pronounce chorizo, you're going to have to say, oh, can I have some spicy Spanish paprika sausage? And you know, so it's probably easy just to say chorizo. A lot of people say chorizo, but it's not. So you know, you're right, they're wrong. So Z is always so Zaragoza. Zaragoza. Okay, so moving on. The next sound is another letter where you have two distinct sounds is G. So it's a G or a H. So when's it a G and when is it a H? So if we think of gato and golpe, and then you've got, let's think of some others, the name Sergio or Jorge. Sorry, Sergio, Jorge. So when you've got a G directly followed by an I or an E, it's a H. Okay. Think of the town in Spain, Gibraltar. Also, if you've got, sometimes you've got the two versions of G, the same word. For example, this word. Gigante. So here, because it's GI, and then G followed by an A is just a G, so gigante, meaning giant. If you think of the Spanish city, which means in Spanish the angels, we say Los Angeles, they say in Spanish it would be Los Angeles, Los Angeles. Or the name Angela, Angela, Angela. Okay. There's another, this hard G sound is also achieved when you have GU. So if you have a word beginning GU, well, wherever the sound is, if you have GU followed by an I or an E, so if you think of this, or the beer, you know, it's Miguel, and it's Miguel, not Miguel. You don't say, can I have a bottle of San Miguel? It's San Miguel. If you think of the word for war in Spanish, it's guerra. The word for guitar, guitarra. But sometimes you've got a GU followed by an A, and then it's different. So you have Guatemala and the part of Cuba, Guantanamo. So here is when it's GU followed by an A, it's a gua. There's also a good word in Spanish which means kind of cool. It's probably more like teenagers would use it, which is guay. Guay. Okay. Now we're going to look at the letter V. Now, you may have heard there are obviously different dialects in Spanish, just as somebody might say in England might say half past, and other people might say half past. You know, what's correct? Well, you know, neither's right nor wrong. Just regional or regional variations on the language. So we're looking at Spanish from Spain. I mean, certain parts of the south, the accent's different. Also, the Canary Islands and Latin America. So it's best to kind of look at those differences in terms of pronunciation in a separate tutorial. So to begin with, we're just going to look at the way that I teach Spanish, the Castilian Spanish. So V is ube. So when you say the city Valencia, it's Valencia. So the V sounds like a B. Always for me sounds like a B. So if you want to say wine, it's vino. If you want to say Seville, Sevilla. Okay, so Valencia, vino, Sevilla. Victoria, or the word victory, Victoria. So Queen Victoria, La Reina Victoria. Also, you can add to that olivas, oliva, olive, olivas, olives. Okay, so we've already seen the kind of sound in when there's a G, when it's before an I or an E. But this sound, I suppose in English we don't really use it unless you're from Liverpool and you want some chicken or loch, or luch. And also in Loch Ness, you're supposed to say loch. It's kind of that kind of sound. So in Spanish it's used a lot, and it's we've already seen it with G, G followed by an E or an I. So geografía, but it's also used with the letter J, which in Spanish is jota. Okay, so it's always a ch. So Javier, the name Javier. Tarjeta meaning card. So if somebody gets a red card, it would be tarjeta in football, tarjeta roja. Okay, and Julio, names of Julio or Julia, Juan, which is equivalent to John in English, or Juana, which is like Jean or Joanna. And also, we've already seen how Seville is spelt in Spanish, so it's Sevilla. So already it's we've already seen that the V is like a B, but when you have two L's together, it's Sevilla. So it's not, you don't hear the L's at all. It's more like a Y. So if you think of really popular Spanish dish, paella. I mean, I suppose in English we've kind of made it sound English, paella. I mean, or you say I say paella and I always get corrected by Spanish teachers saying no, it's paella. So you've really got to separate the pa and the ella. Also, if you want to say she, ella, and if you want to say they, meaning all female, talking about two or more females, it would be ellas. The word for yellow, amarillo, star is estrella. So the beer, give it a capital because it's a beer, estrella. So if you want a bottle of this beer from Barcelona, not Estrella, estrella. So you can really, show off. You can go out to some nice tapas bar and you can have chorizo, bocadillo. You just order things, not that you want, but that you can show off, that you can actually pronounce. So, there could be other beers, but you're just going to go estrella. You can wait for everybody else to say estrella, and then do it the correct way and get some praise from the Spanish waiter. So another sound. So there's a letter in Spanish that doesn't exist in English, which is this letter. So this one does exist. This is NA. You do that to it, and it's an NA, and it's like it's a near sound. So it's España, Español. So it's just a near sound. So if you wrote it phonetically, it would be like España. So it's a near sound. Think of the fruit, piña. Piña means pineapple, so piña colada, not pina colada. Okay. The next letter we're going to look at is the Q. Now the Q is always followed by U. So Q in Spanish is Q, and when it's with a U, if you think of a word that you already know, that isn't tequila, it's tequila. So if you want to say what, as in Manuel in 40 Hours, he doesn't say que, he says K. So it's always it's just like a K, tequila. Also the word for cheese is queso. Okay, so tequila, K, queso. Okay, now probably the easiest one to teach is the sound that wasn't there. So the sound that you don't hear, or the letter that you don't hear pronounced. H in Spanish is H. So think of words that contain it. So hotel, helado, hospital. So you don't hear the H at all. So the practice of hotel, helado, hospital. Okay. So the final letter I want to look at is the letter D. So in Spanish the letter D is day. Okay, so it's quite tricky to explain the letter D. So it depends on where the letter is in the word. Is it in the beginning, the middle, or the end? Is it, and what's around it? So if we think of the capital of Spain, Madrid. So to be honest, apparently D is never really like RD, like in David or Dominoes or whatever. I'm just thinking of or door, probably a better example. It's you've got the kind of, so if you think of a word like David, meaning David, so this is like a strong TH, like in the or this. So you've got like, you think of RD here, and then the sort of TH here. I tend to often letter D for me sounds like RD, but it's kind of very near to RD sometimes, and or it's somewhere along here. So the way that I think about it is that if you have a word beginning with a D, like David, so I tend to, the first letter is like a D, and the last letter like a Z, so David. The word for city, we've already seen that C before an I is a th, and then it's this is definitely like a th sound. So ciudad or ciudad. It's not quite RD, but I think we get away with it being like RD. So if you think of a name like Diana, you know, the D at the beginning of the word would be very close to an English D. Let's have a think of, yeah, so if you think of the city, Valladolid. So this is, both of them are, for me, sound like sounds. Valladolid, yeah, not Valladolid. So that's the pronunciation of consonants.